Yo, if you guys are looking to buy any FIFA Ultimate Team coins, check out x3game.com. They are my new sponsor. I'll leave a link in the description to their site. They're fast, cheap and reliable. Use code HABER at checkout to get yourself 8% off your order. Enjoy the video, lads. Hey, how's it going, lads, and welcome to a brand new video on my channel. Today we are doing the Player of the Month for September investing video. So in today's video we're going to be talking about who's going to get Player of the Month in September. Well, next month, but this September just gone. It's the Player of the Month for this month, and we'll see who's going to get it and what investments you guys can make to make a lot of coins and save yourself some coins doing the SBC. So what I've gone and done is I've put them all on the transfer targets, the investments I want to make. Now the reason I've not invested yet is because on Monday I think there'll be another price drop with players on Monday morning or Sunday night. The simple reason that Squad Battles Awards should send players quite down because a lot of people are competing in Squad Battles this week. Obviously everyone's got the game now so they can actually compete, and a lot of people are getting really decent free packs, which is why I think the market will dip just slightly, just enough for you guys to get some pretty decent deals in before the weekend league and before the investments start paying off. So what I think is it's going to be between either Harry Kane or Aguero. Now, if I go through the players at the minute, it looks like Lukaku, this is as of today, so this is not counting any games tomorrow. This is as of Saturday, 30th of September. Obviously, the games tomorrow are going to be in October, so it doesn't really count. So Lukaku has scored 4 and assisted 1. Aguero has scored 5, assisted 3. Morata scored 4, assisted 0. Harry Kane scored 6, assisted 0. And David Silva has scored 0 and assisted 4. Now, straight away, I think that's going to be between Aguero and Kane. They're the only two players I think that have got a really good chance of winning this Player of the Month. If it's neither of those two, I'll be very, very shocked. Now, obviously, Lukaku's had a decent month. Morata's had a decent month. David Silva had a decent month. But those numbers, like 6 goals in 1 month and 5 goals and 3 assists in 1 month, it seems crazy for it not to be those two. So I wanted to go through and talk about players that I think you guys should invest in. First of all, with the Aguero SBC, I think it's a good idea to invest in high-rated Man City players, sort of Bernardo Silva, Vincent Kompany, Edison's normal card, Bravo, people like that, you know, the higher rated 82 plus players, the ones that don't go for too much. So obviously not like, maybe not Fernandinho, maybe not Sterling, but the players that don't go for too much that are that high rated. Otamendi's another great one to invest in. I think that is a decent idea. Not only that, but I also think that special cards from Man City, aka Wants to Watch Edison, is a pretty decent investment. Currently goes for about 70,000 coins, and if Aguero does get one, it's going to be a 91 rated Player of the Month. I think definitely it'll need a Wants to Watch Edison or a special card from Man City, and if it doesn't, I'll be very surprised, because knowing EA, they'll want to put the price high so not everyone gets the card. But in terms of investments, I think that's a pretty safe bet to go for. Not only that, I also think that Argentinian players, the higher rated Argentinian players, Otamendi, Banega, Musacchio, players of that stature, Di Maria's a good one, Icardi as well. You know, higher rated Argentinian players are decent investments as well. They're pretty safe investments in terms of Aguero as it is. So I think that's a pretty decent idea. And of course, investing is always a risk, and you take it at your own risk. Not only that, but I'd sell in the hype. I wouldn't sell when the Player of the Month comes out. I'd sell them a few days before when the hype is in. You know, if Aguero gets announced, that is great, but before the few days before that is when investments are so high, because a lot of people invest really late and they make a lot of losses. So I'd say sell your players then, you know, the day or two, maybe 3 days before it. So I also think that a special card from Argentina is a good idea as well. Perez looks pretty decent. He's 81 rate and he currently goes for about discard price. You're not losing any coins at all. Gaitan's also a decent idea. And one more, I think, for Aguero is probably Atletico Madrid. Now, we all know he used to play for Atletico Madrid before he moved to Man City. I think it's a great investment to make, putting Aguero for Atletico Madrid, sorry. I think it's a decent idea. Savic is a great investment. Carrasco. Oblak's pretty decent as well. Oblak's a little bit too expensive, but he's also not that expensive at all in hindsight. I think it's a good idea. I also think players like Jimenez, Koke are pretty decent investments as well. I think they, all in all, they are pretty safe investments to make if you guys are investing in Aguero. I think that if you guys are investing in Aguero, that is the route I'd take for Aguero. I'd take those 4 in terms of the 4 that I think that EA will use. Now, obviously, they've already used the teams that you scored against for Mane, and that is probably why I don't think they'll use it again. Now, do I think that you'll need Aguero for the SBC? Probably. It looks like EA are doing something this year where you probably need the player to do the Play Them with SBC. Now, I'm not 100% sure, and I can't guarantee that. That's just what I think. I just think that you probably need the Player of the Month, sorry, the normal card for the Player of the Month, but maybe I could be wrong. You know, I'm not guaranteeing that 100%, but that's just what I think. Now, the other player you guys could invest in is obviously Player of the Month Harry Kane. Now, Harry Kane scored 6 goals so far for Tottenham this month. Great month for Harry Kane. He's played really well. I think in total in all competitions he's scored, what, 13, 14 goals this month, which is crazy. And it could boost him even higher in other people's eyes. Obviously, it's goes to a vote on the fan vote. It's 10%, as well as the players, managers, and other staff from the Premier League obviously get a say in it as well, and that counts for another, I think, 15 or 20% of the vote. So I think Harry Kane's got a very good chance of winning. Obviously, he's scored a bunch of goals, and he's a great investment to make. So first off, I'd say he's the same as Aguero. High-rated Spurs player, I think, is a pretty decent idea. Obviously, they didn't really use Liverpool last one for Mane, which is why I think they'll go with the club for this one. I think that high-rated Spurs players like Alderweireld and Vertonghen are pretty decent. Now, they are quite expensive, but I think this SBC is going to be expensive in general. I also think Dele Alli might be a good one. Lloris as well. Now, Lloris as well is quite expensive, as well as Dele Alli. But for high-rated Spurs players, you haven't got too many. Maybe Wanyama's a decent one for quite cheap. Dye is not that expensive as well, which is quite cheap as well, pretty decent. But apart from that, there's not a fat lot of high-rated Spurs players that aren't really expensive. So if you can get a few for cheap, I'd definitely try and do that. Now, the next thing I'd say is a special card from Spurs as well. Now, Wants to Watch Aurier and Wants to Watch Sanchez are both around the 40-50k mark. I think are great investments, because not only will they be investments for the SBC, I think as well is if you hold on to them, if they aren't required, if Harry Kane doesn't win and you hold on to them, you've still got a chance of them going up if they play well for Spurs and get informs or special cards for Spurs. I think there's still a pretty safe investment holding on to them in general. But I think that, if I had to choose, I personally say Aguero is going to win it. Obviously, Aguero had that injury because of the car crash earlier on in the week, which is why he may have, Harry Kane may have a slight edge on Aguero as well because of that, but we'll have to see. But I think that in general, these investments are all pretty safe. Like, you're not really going to lose too many coins if you make these investments. Obviously, with the weekend league coming up as well, you're probably not going to lose too many coins. You know, you probably actually make coins, if anything, if you sell them with the weekend league. Now, next thing I'd say is maybe Leicester players for Harry Kane. Obviously, Harry Kane did used to play at Leicester. A few seasons ago, he had a loan spell for, I think, 2 seasons at Leicester, which EA may pick on that and try and highlight that, because there are a lot of silvers for Leicester. There are some lower rated Leicester players, which means that you have to invest in the higher rated players for Leicester if it's a high rated SBC. Slimani, Ibora, Mahrez, Schmeichel are a few decent investments for Leicester. In my opinion, I think that's a pretty decent idea. I think EA could do it as well, because it mixes it up slightly, and I think that's a pretty good shout for EA. If they want to mix up the SBCs and make it harder for people to invest in, I'd say go with Leicester, or maybe even go with other previous clubs for Harry Kane. That's it. That's personally my opinion. I think if EA are going to mix it up, that's the way they're going to go. And of course, for the last one, I think English players as well. Now, Harry Kane is renowned for being England's main striker. He is a great striker for England. He didn't really score too much for England, but we'll put that aside. Personal differences to one side for a brief minute. But Harry Kane, of course, is England's striker, and I think that EA could do a requirement for English players. Now, I haven't actually looked into special cards for England, but what I've done is I've noted down a few like Wayne Rooney, I've noted down Joe Hart, Barkley, you know, sort of the higher rated English players that aren't too expensive are pretty good ideas. Of course, Michael Keane's a pretty decent idea. Gary Cahill, Henderson's not a bad shout as well. I think there's quite a lot of English players to fit that sort of category for investing. I think is not a bad shout. Now, what I'm going to actually do quickly on video is check for special cards from England. I think that's a pretty good idea as well. Now, I'm not 100% sure if there are any, but it looks like there are. It looks like there's just one inform from England. Now, this guy looks like he's going for discard, so it could be a pretty decent investment, you know. If EA do something where you need an inform from England and it's just this guy, I can see EA doing something stupid like that. So that's not a bad shout at all. You know, he don't go for too much. 5k is a pretty decent investment, and it could go up to like 15-20,000 coins. Of course, there are icons, but I would never invest in an icon in terms of thinking you're going to get it for an SBC, because I can't see EA doing icon SBCs or anything other than prime icon SBCs. But that is it for this video. If you guys did enjoy, hopefully you did, leave a like down below. Subscribe if you guys are new around here. That is it for the September Player of the Month investing. Like I said, buy on Monday night, or sorry, buy on Monday morning, sort of nighttime for Sunday, Monday morning, like early hours in the morning. Buy your plays then when there is a mini market crash because of squad battle rewards, and then see if you can sell them either for the weekend league or sell them the week after, or even a little bit after that. when the hype comes around for the SBC. So, hopefully you guys did enjoy. If you guys did, leave a like down below, subscribe if you guys are new here. Thank you all for watching this video, and I'll see you later.